Hello, teacher Alain and classmates. My name is Edgar Dorantes. Greetings from the city of Toluca. I'm in the beautiful Alameda Park. And this time I am bringing this video for chapter 4. It's the last activity. And let me start sharing with you this presentation. Well, first of all, this is the last activity, activity 6. And well, I'm gonna answer for the following questions. The question number 1 is, what considerations are made when teachers choose teaching materials? Well, this is a hard question to make, but basically think this way. We can focus in a specific student's needs and create an approach in order to attend any skill or task, and we can even turn to bigger issues or macro skills. When we refer to macro skills, we're referring to the 4 abilities of the language. It is important to consider what we want to pursue in a task. For example, a task has different elements such as goals, the goals that we want to have, what it is for, the aims to follow, etc., the input that we give. So in this one, we are considering the methodology that we use, the different activities involved in the task and how much time it lasts, for example, the teacher role, which is very important and very basic because basically he programs, he chooses the task to follow, the learner role, which is considered in order to have like a more acquisition of the language, and finally the settings. Then in the elements of top down and top bottom, we refer to the following aspects. Center language teaching concentrates on processing and language, excuse me. It focuses on the productive skills. These useful aspects seen in chapter 4 are useful in consideration that top-down processing encourages prediction before listening or reading, for example. On the other hand, bottom-up processing is evident in the scanning for specific lexis or info. It focuses on accuracy, etc. The second question mentions, how do teachers create their own material and what aspects are considered? Real world and other pedagogic aspects are considered. The adaptation of materials can include design and up-to-date elements. All those resources and materials that can be adapted coming from different sources and become a search engine in the nature of teachers in order to achieve better materials in the classroom. So these elements may include, for example, aspects that as teachers we can see in our everyday routine and that we can believe that can work or not in our classroom. So some of the aspects that we're talking about, the macro skills, we're going to check the first one, which is the reading. In the reading part, we are going to have that the elements, we can involve elements to encourage our students to react to a message. We can use reading as a starting point. We can choose adapted, authentic materials, such as newspaper or comic strips, and the identification of a reason for reading, which is, to me, the most important element to follow. To follow up with this aspect, we have production skill, which is speaking. In here, we can concentrate on the mastery of pronunciation, intonation, fluency working, etc. Over here, we can concentrate on the elicitation of personal responses, which is at the end, one of the main focuses that we are following as teachers. That this is the production of the language. We can also base on games and problem-solving activities. And finally, as we were mentioning, also we have the engagement for a real-time interaction. So that means that our students can have, or they understand what to do in a real situation. To follow up, well, we have probably one of the most difficult receptive skills, which is the listening. Over here, we can engage in authentic texts. So for us, the teachers, it would be a challenge to choose authentic texts in order to get what we want. The identifications of reasons for listening so that our students can know or can identify what we are doing. Then the giving practice and response in real time so that they can have this one immediately, for example, and we can practice listening for gist. The intention for this one is basically that we can have the necessary elements for the listening part. Then we have our second production skill, which is the writing, in the mastering, in the elaboration of letters and other formats, so that this can be very productive for our students so that they can have, for example, formats such as forms, the elaboration of checks, etc. So that we can concentrate in selecting an appropriate style for one's audience, okay? Use of grammar to convey meaning, so that we can in here make sure that our students are working with grammar conveniently, and finally understanding the nature of writing in a final product, which I think it's the mere intention that we are looking for. Then we have another question, which is, what do students think about alternative material and course books in the English classroom? And are they invited to influence decisions concerning the choice of material? Well, this question is kind of difficult to say in the name of my students, but I think that they can take a look at the course book and of course to the alternate materials that as teachers we can use. And then by combining these elements, then the course book can be a success, so that it is recommended not to use all the time the same course book, so that we can make and elaborate other aspects, other tasks, so that our students can be there. Then in our planning, we can also concentrate in the manner that they are going to be working. So they can be working in pairs, in groups of 3, or they can have, for example, a group, a discussion group, or something, a debate, etc. So many aspects are here situated so that the choice of material can be the indicator for our students. So we can just have not only the course book or the task implied in the course book, but we can also work, for example, in a video, in a video debate, etc. What do the learners think? Over here in the central language teaching, we can have, for example, pair work, group work, attention to learning styles. We can over here verify that they are confident and they are motivating. We can use different mixed abilities, and finally, meaning learning or skills. Well, this would be the last part of the video. I know that it was not like a very a dense or in contents video, but I try to have it the shortest possible. I want to thank you, Teacher Allen, and I want to thank you, classmates, for your attention. So you may enjoy this ending of our master's degree. Thank you very much for your attention, and greetings from the city of Toluca.